Jim Schwartz knows Kyle Shanahan. Their head-to-head record shows it. Schwartz is 1-8 against him. But this time, the Browns' defensive coordinator might have the upper hand. With Myles Garrett terrorizing quarterbacks and a scheme designed to expose Brock Purdy's weaknesses, Cleveland's defense could create the chaos that lets Shedeur Sanders shine. Joey Oden isn't hyping up the rookie for nothing. This is a matchup built for disruption, and Sanders has already shown he can capitalize on it.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
It all adds up to a scenario where the Browns can control the tempo. Sanders' deep ball threatens defenses in ways Cleveland hasn't seen in years, and when paired with opportunistic turnovers, it opens doors. Even against a heavyweight like San Francisco, this team has the ingredients to tilt the field. If Sanders wins, it won't just be a statistical achievement. It'll be an inflection point for the entire organization. The Cleveland Browns might be staring history in the face, and it's wearing number 2. Because Shedeur Sanders, a rookie quarterback making just his second NFL start, is one win away from accomplishing something that hasn't happened in nearly 60 years. Going 2-0 to start his career in a Browns uniform. That's not just a win. That's a historical shift. According to Joey Oden from the Browns Report, the NFL has officially been warned. What's brewing in Cleveland isn't just another hopeful rookie storyline. It's potentially to start a quarterback era that could finally pull this franchise out of the long, dark tunnel it's been trapped in since the Bernie Kosar days. Kosar was the last Browns rookie to start 2-0. That was in the 1980s. And no Browns quarterback in the entire Super Bowl era has pulled that off in their first 2 starts. That's decades of dysfunction, generations of disappointment. And now, out of nowhere, Shedeur Sanders is poised to smash that pattern in a single week. And he's not walking into an easy win. This isn't some basement-dwelling opponent. It's the San Francisco 49ers, a team that's currently 8-4, built for the postseason, and known for turning rookie QBs into highlight reel casualties. They're not just strong, they're aggressive. They come at you fast, and they finish. But despite all of that, the Browns aren't backing down. In fact, there's a growing sense among analysts, fans, and bettors that something's changing. Shedeur's debut was everything Cleveland fans have been begging for. Over 200 passing yards. A 52-yard bomb that showed off his arm. Composure under pressure. Poise that defied his age. He didn't look like a rookie. He looked like a quarterback with something to prove, and the ability to prove it. That one throw downfield, that wasn't luck. That was elite timing. A release under duress. The kind of throw that opens up the playbook for an entire team. The kind that makes a defense say, okay, we have to respect the deep ball now. And when a defense does that, everything underneath opens up. That's what Shedeur brought to this offense. A vertical threat, and more importantly, confidence. This team looks different, feels different, because this fan base has seen every kind of quarterback disaster you can imagine. From draft bust to injury-prone veterans to one-year fill-ins that did more harm than good. And then Shedeur steps in and gives Cleveland a reason to believe. Over 200,000 fans tuned in live to his debut. That's not just excitement. That's emotional investment. This city doesn't hand out hope easily anymore. And now, it's starting to look like it might have been worth it. But the story doesn't end with Sanders. Because while the rookie QB may be stealing headlines, the Browns' defense is building its own legend. 10 sacks in one game. 10. And at the center of that chaos is Myles Garrett, who isn't just dominating. He's hunting records. Garrett is on a mission to break the NFL single-season sack record. And the way this unit is swarming offenses right now, it's not just likely. It's expected. That kind of defensive performance doesn't just keep you in games. It dictates them. When you can collapse a pocket on command and make quarterbacks second-guess their every read, you give your offense opportunities. You set up short fields. You take pressure off your rookie QB by keeping games within reach and allowing for field position swings. And against a team like the 49ers, that's crucial. San Francisco doesn't make many mistakes, but when they do, you have to capitalize. Especially now, with Brock Purdy showing signs of inconsistency. multiple interceptions in recent games, a few questionable decisions that turn momentum. This isn't the invincible version of the 49ers from earlier in the season. There are cracks, and Cleveland has the personnel and the momentum to exploit them. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is part of that equation too. The record may show he's 1-8 against Kyle Shanahan, but that's exactly why this matchup is so interesting. Schwartz has seen Shanahan's offense a lot. He knows the patterns. He understands the tendencies. And now he's coaching one of the most aggressive defenses in football. He's not going to hold back. And this is where everything comes together. A dominant defense, a rising quarterback, a home crowd that's been starving for something real, and finally sees it. Huntington Bank Field is going to be rocking. When Shedeur takes the field Sunday, it's not going to be quiet. It's going to be deafening. That kind of energy affects games. It disrupts communication. It fuels momentum. And the betting markets are noticing too. The line opened with the 49ers as 6-point favorites. It's already dropped to 4.5. That movement says everything. It's not just fan hope anymore. It's respect. Analysts, sportsbooks, and sharp bettors are because they see what's happening. This Browns team is no longer just a defensive threat with shaky offense. They might have a quarterback now. And if Shedeur wins this game, if he starts 2-0 and becomes the first rookie Browns QB to do that since 1967, it's not just history. It's the beginning of a new narrative. A franchise that's been mocked, doubted, and dismissed for years might finally have their guy. And it's not just about what he does this week. It's about what it means long-term. If Shedeur is a real deal, it changes how Cleveland builds. It changes how they draft. It changes how free agents view the team. Because when you have a young quarterback who can actually win games, you're not rebuilding. You're competing. And that's what Sunday represents. A chance to prove this team isn't just having a good moment. It's having a breakthrough. But of course, the 49ers won't make it easy. Nick Bosa will be coming off the edge like a missile. McCaffrey will be looking for mismatches in space. The scheme will be tight, the execution clean, and the margin for error razor thin. Which means Shedeur doesn't have to be a superstar. He just needs to be solid, smart, efficient, and opportunistic. Make the throws when they're there. Protect the ball. Trust the defense. And if he does that, he won't just win the game. He'll take control of the Browns' future. This is a rare moment. One where a fan base, a franchise, and a young quarterback are aligned at the same time, with everything on the line. And if it goes the right way, it won't just be the biggest moment of Shedeur Sanders' young career. It'll be the biggest Browns quarterback moment in it. If you're feeling the weight of this game like we are, like this video, drop your score predictions in the comments, and let us know if you think Shedeur pulls it off. Subscribe for more updates, because no matter how it ends, this is a moment we won't forget. Every so often, a game shows up on the schedule that doesn't just feel important. It is important, not because of standings or playoff implications, but because of what it could mean for the soul of a franchise. And right now, that's exactly what's happening in Cleveland. The Browns have been here before, close to something real, close to turning the page, close to shedding the weight of years and years of mediocrity, bad luck, and quarterback purgatory. But it never stuck. The moment always faded. The promise never became permanence. But this week, it feels different. And the reason it feels different is spelled out in one name: Shedeur Sanders. You've already heard the headlines. A rookie quarterback, a historic opportunity. If Shedeur wins this game, he'll become the first Browns rookie QB to start 2-0 in the Super Bowl era. Let that sink in. Since 1967, no rookie quarterback wearing brown and orange has done it. That's not a fluke stat. That's a franchise-defining drought. And Shedeur is one win away from snapping it clean in half. The guy has played one NFL game. One. And already, he's giving Cleveland something it hasn't had in a long, long time: believability. And it's not just the fans who are paying attention. Browns insider Joey Oden is sounding the alarm to the rest of the league. He's warning the NFL that this might not be some cute rookie run. This might be real. This might be the one. Because Shedeur didn't look like a fluke in his debut. He looked like a quarterback who gets it. He delivered a 52-yard deep pass under pressure. He crossed the 200-yard mark. He moved with confidence, read the defense, bought time when he needed to, and made plays. The kind of plays Browns fans haven't seen from a rookie QB since Bernie Kosar, and the city felt it. Over 200,000 people tune in live to watch Shedeur's debut. That's not preseason curiosity. That's a fan base latching onto something they know could finally change the narrative. Because when a franchise has had as many false starts as the Browns have, you don't just get excited for potential. You wait for proof. And Shedeur gave them just enough to believe. But now comes the real test. And it's a monster. The 49ers. At 8-4, they are not a team to overlook. They're one of the most physical, best coached, and most complete squads in the league. They have weapons all over the field. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. And a defense that doesn't just play hard, it punishes mistakes. This is a kind of matchup that could rattle any young quarterback. But this isn't just any rookie start. This is a game where we find out who Shedeur really is. Can he stay calm in the pocket when Nick Bosa is barreling at him? Can he make the right reads when San Francisco throws disguised coverages? Can he finish drives instead of settling for field goals? This game will ask every question, and Sanders will have to answer all of them, under pressure at home, in front of fan base ready to explode. But this isn't a one-man mission. The Browns don't need Shedeur to win this game by himself. Because while the offense is finding its rhythm, the defense is operating at full volume. 10 sacks against the Raiders. 10, led by Myles Garrett. The Browns' defense is absolutely smothering right now. And Garrett? He's not just dominant, he's record-breaking. On pace for a historic season. Chasing the single-season sack record and playing like every snap matters. He doesn't take plays off. He doesn't take pressure off. And the rest of the defensive unit is following that lead. This defense is built for chaos. They force fumbles. They create short fields. They make it easier for a young quarterback to succeed. And on the sideline, a little bonus, Jim Schwartz. Yes, he's 1-8 historically against Kyle Shanahan. That stat doesn't look great. But history also means experience, familiarity. And now Schwartz is coaching one of the best defenses he's ever had. He knows Shanahan. He's seen that offense before. And now he gets to counter it with one of the nastiest front sevens in the... So when you zoom out and look at the big picture, this game becomes a perfect storm, a rising quarterback, a historic opportunity, a ferocious defense, a home stadium packed with fans who want this more than anything, and an opponent good enough that a win would mean something. This isn't just about going 2-0. It's about turning the page. Because let's be real, what would a win over the 49ers say about the Browns? 1. It says a rookie quarterback isn't just hot, he's real. It says the defense isn't just tough, they're dominant. It says the coaching staff isn't just improving, they're out scheming one of the best in the game. It says that Cleveland is done being the NFL's cautionary tale. A win would tell the league, this isn't the same Browns team you've been beating up on for the last 20 years. It's a moment that turns maybe they're onto something into they've arrived. And if Shedeur does it, if he stands tall in the pocket, takes hits, delivers when it counts, and walks off that field 2-0, he becomes the guy. Not just a spark, not just a story, a franchise quarterback. Because that's what's really on the line. Not just a game, not just a stat, a future. The Browns have cycled through quarterback after quarterback for years. Some had hype, others had hope, but none had staying power. Shedeur wins this game, and everything changes. Front office strategy, locker room chemistry, fan expectations. A win means the Browns can stop chasing quarterbacks and start building around one. That hasn't happened in Cleveland for decades. And it's sitting right there within face, but here's the flip side. If they lose, especially if Shedeur struggles, the narrative hits a wall. The hype train slows down. The national media starts whispering, maybe not ready. And suddenly, the spark turns into scrutiny. Because that's how it goes. The NFL gives you one chance to make a first impression. Sanders aced the first test. Now comes the midterm. And the margin for error? Shrinking. Which is exactly why this game matters so much more than the standings will show. If Shedeur wins, the Browns don't just get a victory. They get a vision of what this team could look like next year, 5 years from now, a vision that says the quarterback carousel has finally stopped spinning. And for the fans, this is personal. Cleveland has waited through blown leads, botched drafts, collapses, rebuilds, and now, in Shedeur Sanders, they found something they haven't had in years, a reason to believe. So whether you're watching from the stadium or from your couch, this isn't just another game on the schedule. This is a chapter, maybe the chapter. And here's the part where things get very real. Because while the numbers and milestones are impressive, and they are, the truth is, this game is about more than stats. It's about credibility. The kind of credibility the Browns haven't had under center in literal generations. You've probably heard this before. Cleveland finds a new quarterback. There's a little bit of hype, maybe a preseason highlight, a few nice quotes from the locker room. Hope builds. Then, like clockwork, it all... But with Shedeur Sanders, the energy doesn't feel artificial. This isn't about blind hope. This is about a quarterback who walked onto the NFL stage under enormous pressure and didn't blink. A 52-yard strike under duress isn't something you can fake. Over 200 passing yards in your first game? Not a coincidence. That's composure. That's instinct. That's talent translating under, and maybe most importantly, that's leadership. Because it wasn't just a stat line. It was the way the offense responded to him. The rhythm, the pace, the confidence in the huddle. These guys believe in him already. And in a league like the NFL, where locker room buy-in is everything, that's the kind of intangible that can flip an entire franchise's fortunes. It's not just fans paying attention. The Browns organization sees it too. They've spent years searching for someone who could take the reins, not just physically, but emotionally. Someone who could step onto the field and make everyone around him better. And now, it looks like they might have that. But again, it comes back to Sunday. Because this game isn't a warm-up. This isn't another tune-up against a bottom-tier team. This is the San Francisco 49ers, a legit Super Bowl contender. They're favored. They're experienced. They've got stars on both sides of the ball. And for Shedeur, it's the ultimate proving ground. He doesn't need to throw for 400 yards. He doesn't need to dominate. What he needs to do is compete. Show that he belongs. That last week wasn't a fluke. That he can stand in against one of the best teams in the NFL and keep the Browns in the... That's how credibility is earned. Not in blowouts, but in battles. And while all the pressure seems to be on Shedeur, the reality is he's not doing this alone. The Browns' defense is as real as it gets. Led by Myles Garrett, they're one of the most disruptive forces in the league right now. 10 sacks in a single game isn't just dominance. It's control. It means you're dictating the pace. You're forcing bad throws. You're turning third downs into punting situations. And when a defense plays like that, it gives a rookie quarterback a gift. Time. Time to develop. Time to learn. Time to make mistakes without every single one costing the game. And with a team like the 49ers, that pressure is everything. Because if Cleveland's defense can get to Brock Purdy early, rattle him, pressure him, force turnovers, they can set Shedeur up for success. Short fields, manageable drives, fewer high-risk plays. That's the formula. And it's not just theory. It's what the Browns have already shown they're capable of. The 49ers, for all their firepower, have been vulnerable. Turnovers, sloppy stretches of play, an offense that has cooled off in big moments. They're good, no doubt, but they're beatable. And Vegas knows it too. That opening line at -6 in favor of San Francisco, it's already slid down to -4.5. That's not just a fluke. That's momentum. That's money moving. That's better starting to believe Cleveland might just pull this off. And let's be honest, that shift doesn't happen unless Shedeur Sanders looked apart last week. So what happens if he does again? What if he walks onto the field, stays calm, makes the big throws, manages the game, and walks off with a second straight win? That's not just history. That's identity. That's the Browns finally having a quarterback who doesn't need excuses. A quarterback who wins. If Shedeur goes 2-0, he becomes the first Browns rookie to do it in the modern era. That's a record that stood untouched since 1967. But more than that, he becomes a standard. He becomes the benchmark for what this franchise can look like when the right guy is under center. And for a city like Cleveland, that's everything. This isn't just a football team. It's a cultural institution. Browns fans don't just support, they live and breathe this team. And for them, watching Shedeur step into this moment with this kind of poise in this game is more than just exciting. It's validating. It's proof that maybe, just maybe, the team they've stood behind through everything finally has it right. But this is the NFL, and the spotlight is a double-edged sword. Because if Shedeur stumbles, the critics will be loud. The praise will fade. The maybe he's not ready headlines will hit immediately. That's the reality of the league. There's no grace period. No patience. Which is why this game matters. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing for a stat. He's playing to keep control of the narrative. And he has the tools to do it. We've already seen the deep ball. We've seen the pocket awareness. We've seen the mobility. But what's most important? We've seen leadership. The calm in the storm. The drive to win. That's what separates quarterbacks who flash and fade from quarterbacks who last. If Shedeur delivers again on Sunday, he won't just be 2-0. He'll be legit. And the Browns? They'll be legitimate contenders with a real quarterback and a defense that can carry them deep. So now we wait. Game day is coming. The 49ers are coming. And Shedeur is standing right in the middle of the storm. Helmet on, ready to take the next step. If you're riding the wave, drop your game predictions in the comments. Like this if you think Shedeur can go 2-0 and shut down the noise. And subscribe if you want to follow the rise. Because whatever happens next, history is watching. And Cleveland might just be ready to make some.